This is Andy Gutierrez from StarWars.com, and you are listening to Coffee with Kenobi with Dan Z. This is the podcast you're looking for.
This is James Arnold Taylor, and you're listening to Coffee with Kenobi. I have a good feeling about this.
Was the microphone on for my warm little introduction there? If not, hello friends and welcome. It is the last call for CWK Live, and I am your host, Dan Zehr. So excited, so delighted to talk Star Wars with each and every one of you. Isn't it perfect? On the last episode of CWK Live, I neglected to turn on my microphone. I mean, would you have it any other way, honestly? So good. So good. Let's bring in our friends. Hello, Minta. This is the way. It's a CWK Day finale. Yes and no. And we'll get to that. Thank you, Minta, for being here. You've been here since the beginning. Appreciate it. Robert, happy CWK Day. Great to see you, Robert. So nice to have you here. Terry is here. Hey. Hello, Terry. Great to have you, buddy. Yeah, I like your profile picture. I'm honored. Adam, happy CWK Day and Taco Tuesday. Ooh, Taco Tuesday. Glad I was able to shift some things around so I could participate in the final show before it goes into carbon freeze. That's actually quite apt. I was thinking about the whole carbon freeze analogy there. Mary Purdue, speaking of been here since the beginning, happy and a little sad Tuesday to everyone. Mary, thank you so much for being here. Wouldn't be the same without you. Nick is with us. Happy CWK Day. Hello, Nick. Great to have you, my friend. So great to have you. Daz is here. Daz is here all the way from across the pond. Daz, thank you so much. I'm sure it is a crazy time of the evening where you're at, so it means a lot that you are here. Olga is here. Hello, CWK family. Hello. So great to have you. And Cato is here as well. Hey, Danzy. Hello. Thank you so much, Cato, for being here. Oh, it's so nice to see all of you. Raquel, my cousin Raquel. Raquel signing in for the final CWK Live. Hello, Raquel. So nice to see you. Love you. So great to see you here. Greg is here. Good evening, all. Glad to see you for last call. Hello, Greg. Thanks for being here, man. Oh, well, this is so awesome. Look at all these wonderful, happy faces. Leo is here. Hello, Leo. Great to have you. I figured Olga was David Motters. Very sneaky of you, David. You know, I've never seen Olga and David together like Clark Kent and Superman, now that I think about it. Father Jimmy is here. Great to join for a special CWK. Hello, Father Jimmy. Such a blessing to have you. Brian, this is the last Tuesday you were looking for, Brian. Good to see you, my friend. Cato says, we watched the final 2 episodes this morning to join in. Oh, cool. Good. Well, you're going to be all set to go. Terry says, Mr. Zehr, I wasn't able to do my top 5 homework list. May I copy from the others just this one time? Just this one time. You're not using AI, so I'm good with that, Liberty. Liberty is here. Hey, Liberty. Liberty's going to San Diego Comic-Con, so it's so awesome that you're able to pop in and say hello. Great to see you, Liberty. Greg is here. Evening all. Hello, Greg. Great to have you. This is a great crowd. And for the second week in a row, for whatever reason, it refused to stream to Twitter/X. But hey, fine with me. We got our people here. Let's look at what we're going to talk about this evening on our final show. We're going to talk about your top 5 moments from the Acolyte, of course, Star Wars news and merchandise, and naturally the final episode of CWK Live. The Legal Geeks are here. Hello, friend. So good to see you. Before we jump into what's brewing in the world of Star Wars this week, we'll certainly talk about it a little bit more. But before we jump into the live segment of the show, well, the whole segment of the show is live, let me reassure you, Coffee with Kenobi is not going anywhere. Everything is good. Everything is wonderful. It's just time to stop doing CWK Live for reasons which I'll get to later, which I did talk about last week. But yes, all good. Just CWK Live, the weekly live show is going to be gone. But you're still stuck with me, Star Wars fans, still stuck with me. Brian says, Terry, you can copy my answers. You can just change the numbers. Hey, smart, Brian. And Nick is providing some insight I wasn't aware of. Twitter doesn't allow live streaming anymore unless you pay extra. Well, okay. Well, I am not doing that. So thank you, Nick. That explains it. Ross is here via cell phone during D&D. Ross, dude. Hello. Make sure you roll for initiative when the time is right, my friend. But so great to have you on the show. Let's go ahead now and jump into what is brewing in the world of Star Wars this week. It is a fun week to talk about some of the Star Wars merchandise naturally because San Diego Comic-Con is, it's this week. It's here. The preview day, I believe, is tomorrow. And several of you are going to be at San Diego Comic-Con, which is a ton of fun. Cato says, nice montage. Well, thank you, Cato. I appreciate that. Let's talk about what's going on from Hasbro. Josh, Liberty will both be at San Diego Comic-Con, so if you see each other, be sure to say hello. Hasbro released a lot of great new things from the Vintage Collection. If you're not familiar with the Vintage Collection, it's a 3 3/4 inch line, the classic line of action figures, but with the modern articulation, paint job, and just, basically a high quality action figure. We've got the Mandalorian special set of Shriek-Hawk. That is going to be available only on Amazon on July 25th. Daniel is here too. Daniel is here for the historic moment. Daniel, great to see you, and what an awesome profile picture you have, my friend. Liberty says, if anyone else is going to SDCC, hit me up. Yeah, Josh from Legal Geeks will be there for sure. Another cool thing, this is Boba Fett from the Imperial base. Another 3 3/4 inch figure. These are all vintage lines, so all the same size. This one is available on Hasbro Pulse, Target, Amazon, everywhere. Again, starting on the 25th. You can see that cool the blaster, and I think the I don't know about the articulation, but the sculpting on this one looks phenomenal. It looks so sharp, including the cloth cape. Very, very nice. This is cool. If you'll notice, Hasbro's done a lot with these play sets. And now we've got Moff Gideon's Light Cruiser hallway, and it shows you how it's all set up. And I've got another picture here of it that shows what it looks like outside of the box when you've got everything posed ready to go. There's actually a really cool thing on Hasbro's website which shows how they unbox this and how they put it together. A lot of fun. Also, July 25th, that is available everywhere that you can buy Hasbro Star Wars collectibles and accessories. Finally, Bo-Katan, complete with her Darksaber, until it gets smashed by Moff Gideon, which I still don't love, but who knows how and if it will come back. I hope that it does, because I love the Darksaber. All right, so that's the new merchandise. But let's go into the news. Very excited about this. How perfect that it came out for the last CWK Live. But finally, the cover was revealed for my next Star Wars book, the Star Wars Encyclopedia. This is the comprehensive guide to the Star Wars galaxy. I had the good fortune to write this with several amazing authors. I'm very honored and blessed to be able to be associated with this group. The foreword of our book is written by Rosario Dawson, and amazing. And this is the cover. The cover was announced yesterday on StarWars.com, along with a lot of other San Diego Comic-Con reveals. Look for much, much more information on this in the future. Of course, I will be talking about it because I'm very excited, very proud of this book. Again, it comes out November 19th. You can order it online at Amazon or anywhere books are sold. And of course, if you order it on a link that I share, that's an affiliate link, easy for me to say, and it helps get the word out for the show. So, good stuff. Let's see. Josh has an Acolyte panel on Friday at 7 o'clock. And if you've never seen Josh's panels either in person or live, or on YouTube, they're amazing. He and his friends are professional lawyers, so they know the stuff and they love their fandom, and they're going to make you think about these incredible stories in very different ways from a legal perspective. Fascinating. Jason is here. Hi, everyone. Just dropping in to say hi real quick for my daughter's hockey game. I'm truly grateful to have participated in the live show. We'll deeply miss it, but I look forward to staying in touch through the cafe and continuing to be a part of this great community. Jason, so great to see you. I'm so glad you dropped in. It means a lot to me, and thank you so much. Yes. Jason has been a huge part of this. And the CWK Cafe is definitely going to be very active for sure. David, congratulations on the book. Thank you, David. I appreciate that. Greg also says congratulations on getting in another book. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. Cato is going to pre-order, which is amazing. Greg, so excited to have a new encyclopedia. Pre-order is in. Well, great. Greg, I can't wait to talk to you about it, buddy. You're going to love it. Daz says it's a beautiful cover. Like all the authors, we got to see the reveal of the cover when it dropped as well. Stunning. Absolutely stunning. Josh is looking forward to San Diego Comic-Con, and we're looking forward to hearing about it. Minta's getting the book the moment it comes out. Well, thank you, Minta. I hope I get to sign it for you someday. That would be so fun. Robert also agrees. Beautiful cover. Terry says a great looking book. Again, so I can't wait to put it on my shelf. Deb's here. Hello, Deb. So great to see you. Nice to have you here. And Deb says, congratulations. Can I share which articles you wrote? And does that answer your question? To be continued. To be continued, Father Jimmy. And Mary says, the book looks amazing. Congrats. Thank you. I'm very excited about it. Yasi is here. I'm so sorry you're not doing the live shows anymore. Yasi, well, thank you so much for joining all of us here tonight on the show. Yes, no more live shows every week, but Coffee with Kenobi is still here. The podcast is still going to come out every single week, so no worries there. Josh, they're going to have 3 federal judges on their panel this year. Isn't that crazy? Kato, might you have a signed book plate available, perhaps? I'd buy one. Oh, wow. No, that's a good question. I don't know. I'll have to ask about that. Yasi says, always enjoy the podcast, especially the Ahsoka coverings. Looking forward to more. Well, thank you. I appreciate that so much. And I look forward to continuing to talk to the experience Star Wars with all of you in this incredible fandom, for sure. Josh is going to order several for Christmas gifts. Now, that's cool. That is so cool. What else do we have? There were a lot of cool pieces of news. The final battle of the Galactic Civil War begins. This is an ad for October. We're going to finally see the Battle of Jakku. If you've read any of the Star Wars literature, the Aftermath trilogy, or really anything in Star Wars over the past couple of, ever since Disney purchased Lucasfilm, the Battle of Jakku has always been known as the official place where the Empire was defeated. Yes, we know about the Death Star and the Emperor and Vader, but there's still some Imperial remnants, and the Battle of Jakku is where it all officially comes to an end. So we're going to get to see all about that. Here's a look at the first issue, covered by Phil Noto, of course, who's great work. Does a lot of amazing Star Wars stuff. There's the cover of the Battle of Jakku, Insurgency Rising, a nice little image with Luke on the cover. And then if you're going to be at Comic-Con, like Josh and Liberty and several of you listening to the show, there's going to be an incredible Star Wars panel hosted by the hilarious and talented Patton Oswalt. So be sure to look for that. A lot of great reveals, undoubtedly. Ross Gonzalez did take me to draw that cover. Well, I used finger paint. So not very long. Yes, not very long at all. Where's my laugh track? I mean, obviously, I'm not telling the truth. Yes, I did not draw it, of course. And he knows that. He's just being silly. Ross is silly, and that's one of the reasons I love Ross so much. But it's amazing. I don't even know who put it together, but I can't wait to find out. Guess I got to crack into that Aftermath trilogy. It's on my shelf, and then these. You know, I think the Aftermath trilogy, which we don't really talk about anymore, I think is tremendous. Alice is here. Alice says, hi, Dan. Great to listen to your podcast. Well, Alice, thank you so much. It's such a pleasure to have you on the live show. I really appreciate you being here. And again, the podcast is still going to be going strong. Just the live show is going to go away regularly, weekly. We'll get to that. All right, what's next? Let's go to our top 5, shall we? Gary is watching. Gary, great to have you, buddy. Great to have you. Apologies. Liberty says, I'm all in for Patton's panel. I want to go to Josh's, but I only have Thursday and Sunday tickets this year. Oh, wow. Well, you know what? San Diego Comic-Con, like Star Wars Celebration, is very, very hard to get tickets to, so I completely understand that. Completely. All right, let's go to our top 5, shall we? Tonight, we're going to finally talk about the final episode of Season 1 of The Acolyte. The episode is titled appropriately enough, The Acolyte. You know the drill by now. After almost over 4 years of doing this show, we get our top 5 together. We share what we think. One thing I've really liked about The Acolyte is I like that it's been polarizing because I like the different conversation. I really like that a ton. I like that we have so many different perspectives, so many different points of view, and so many ways to look at it. And that, to me, is very exciting. It really makes for a compelling conversation. And then we can learn from each other. Because if we all thought exactly the same and agreed exactly the same, I would find that really boring. So I like that different perspective that we have. All right. My top 5 moments. Yes, Yassi, whatever you have is good. Leo, number 5, Yoda's appearance at the end. I believe Ernesto is going to tell Yoda about sensing or feeling Chimere. Well, that would be good. You are more optimistic about Ernesto than I am. I'm afraid she's not going to say anything. We'll see. We'll see. Oh, look at this. I love seeing everybody's comments pop up. Makes me so happy. Maintenance 5, Osha and May finally making amends despite they would have to part ways once more. There's a chance they'll find each other again. You know what? I like your optimism. I hope that happens too. Mary has 2 sets of top 5s tonight. Aw, Mary, you're going to get me choked. You're going to get me choked up. Number 5 for Mary, the Acolyte, seeing Plagueis. Wow. Okay, and look, I was really gun-shy to talk about it on the podcast last week with James Burns. So amazing to be able to host those shows with James, looking at the Acolyte. But Leslie Headland confirmed on StarWars.com that is Darth Plagueis. So it's confirmed. It's on StarWars.com. The creator of the series, Leslie Headland, confirmed it. So that is Darth Plagueis that was in that cave, and it was tremendous. The number 5 Mary also has for her other list is for CWK Live, and she says Trivia Nights and learning Orabesh together. That's something that Mason pointed out to me too. And I'm so glad. Liberty's 5, the lightsaber battles between Soul and the Stranger. All these lightsaber battles have been awesome. But there are some really different things that happen. Chimere pulling Soul's lightsaber to his helmet. Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. And hopefully people have enjoyed my comments and analysis of the Acolyte on Coffee with Kenobi's podcast. Comes out every Thursday. As you know, Thursday mornings, and has for years and years. Because I mix it up. Well, the things didn't work, I put at the end of the show. And the things I did like, I called it this is the cream and sugar moment of the podcast. And it seems to be working out well. Number 5 for Kato, those birds that look like rocks in the back, they hide in plain sight. And isn't that the whole coming Sith plot? Oh, well, that's pretty insightful. I'm not surprised, Kato, because you are incredibly insightful and astute. So that is a really good metaphor I hadn't considered, but that works for me. Number 5 for Brother Jimmy, Senator Raincourt, an interesting character, and the actor did a great job. I wish he had shown up sooner. You know what? I do too, and I just realized I didn't even put my top 5 up. After I'll read Greg's first. Basil noticing something was different when Soul was sold by scent and taking action. You know, I talked about that a lot on the show too. We'll get to that. My number 5 was cameos. Seeing Darth Plagueis. As I said, that's official. You can put that in ink. And then seeing Yoda at the end. I like those cameos. I didn't expect either of them. So it was a fun surprise. Number 5 for David. The chase scene in space above Brendock was gorgeous. Yes, and I'm definitely going to talk about that in a little bit. Adam's 5. Crouching Soul Hidden Chimere fight scene. Adam has consistently been one of the most clever with his deliveries of his top 5s. 5 for Robert, flying through the rings of the moon of Brendock. Very similar to what David just said, and I completely agree. Robert is tremendous. Number 5 for Nick, the Kyber crystal turning red. Yes, tremendous. Great visuals for sure. Brian's 5, Darth Plagueis the Wise. Have you heard the tragedy? You know, Brian, I've heard it. It's very concerning, and it's happening. Number 5 for Greg Cass, for Nestor's love for Soul. She struggles with the burden of betraying him. They'll see larger purpose in doing so. And Greg, we need to talk about that, because that part was very hard for me. Yassi's top 5 moments. Number 1 for Yassi, the twin characters Osha and May serve as a compelling embodiment of the Jungian shadow archetypes that are contrasting personalities and interconnected destinies. That is tremendous. What a great way to explain that too. Very astute as well. Daniel, oh wow, that is Plagueis. Nice. That would be my number 5. Yeah, it is. You can definitely put that in ink. Terry's 5, the reversal of roles for May and Osha by the end of the episode. Fascinating. So that is, I think that's everybody who weighed in for number 5. So let's go ahead and jump into number 4. Number 4 for me, I put In Orbit. So above Brendock, a few of you have already mentioned this, but I thought the effects that ILM did for that sequence with them going through the rings of Brendok, I'm assuming it's the rings of Brendok, was just one of the most stunning visual effects I've ever seen in any medium. I loved it. I applauded it. I instantly said, no, this is another level of effects for a streaming series. Just absolutely tremendous. The texture, the pliability of it all, it was just tremendous. I absolutely loved it. Very impressive. Very, very, very impressive. Yassi's next one, the Acolyte empowers cinematic techniques to depict the Jungian shadow archetype, particularly through parallel editing in the final. I noticed that too. I didn't pick up as much on the Jungian shadow archetype, but you completely are correct now that I think about that. And the cinematography used to kind of portray that's been one of the strengths of the series the entire time, is how they have used lighting and cinematography and atmosphere to create that ambiance. Number 4 for Minta, the battle between Soul and the Stranger. I feel like I'd be watching a new version of Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Every lightsaber battle needs to be that way. You know, it was another level. It absolutely was another level, and thrilling to watch. Mason didn't really see anything of the Acolyte, but he came in and watched that battle, and he's like, Dad, this is really cool. I'm like, yes, this part is so cool. Mary's 4, Acolyte. The Senate Council meeting, I also like that. I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. Her CWK Live, number 4. Seeing the graphics of the newest merch and heads up about new Dan Zehr books. Oh, thank you again, Mary. That is so kind. It's been a thrill for me to put those together for sure. Kato's 4, May, treating the little droid as a friend and not just as a tool. She finds her humanity in that little moment, which made it so hard for me when they wiped the mind of that thing, but then it seemed to kind of spring back pretty quickly. Number 4 for Adam, Pip, the Swiss Army knife of droids, complete with lockpicks and a stun gun. Plus, if you're thirsty, you can squirt water. Right? How awesome is that? How would you fill that up? Would you charge it up with a USB, probably USB-C, right? And then you put the water in, and we'll think about that later. Number 4 for Liberty, Soul chasing May through the planet Ice Rings. Lots of drama and look great. Looked so stunning. Just so great. Number 4 for Robert, Senator Raincourt's uncomfortable yet valid concerns about the Jedi and David Harwood's portrayal of this character. I'm glad I couldn't find his name, Robert, in the credits anywhere. So I'm glad that you shared that with me because I didn't know who it was. Greg's number 4, Greg McLaughlin. Senator Raincourt's meeting with Vernestra. He wasn't intimidated and set a tone for how the mystique of the Jedi is perhaps fading for some. You know, and it does set the tone, doesn't it, for kind of the atmosphere that they have, or what we're told to believe some of the confusion and conflict is in the prequels. Number 4 for David. Tensions rising as the Senate looks and the Jedi activities will continue in the prequel trilogy. Excuse me, I had to cough there. Yes. Yeah, it's going to connect really nicely. 4 for Nick, ending with Ashmir holding hands. Pretty neat stuff, I would say. Great cast. The cameos I never would have expected would see Plagueis in live action, nor did I. And I had to wonder what motives he would have to get control over Virgins. Well, to me, it's if he wants to learn how to create life and sustain life, and these two people were split from one person to two bodies through a Virgins, well, that's got to be his hook. I mean, that makes sense to me. I speculate about that on the show, and that's my guess. But of course, I don't know for sure. I guess we will find out. But that would be what I would assume. Brian's 4. Vernestra detecting Chimera as soon as she gets off the ship. That was a cool moment. I hope we get to see more of that aspect of the character because I thought that was pretty compelling stuff. Father Jimmy's 4. Osha's vision and the helmet foreshadowed the ending, but allowed for the twist since May and Osha are the same person, which is still really head-scratching. Leo's 4, Darth Plagueis cameo, so many questions. Now we need answers. And as of the time of now, there's only season 1, so hopefully we'll find something out soon. We'll find out. Maybe. Number 4 for Daniel, the process of bleeding a Kyber crystal. So sad and a powerful moment. However, there has to be balance in Osha's finally becoming a Jedi of sorts. You know, I've struggled with that. You know, is she becoming a Jedi? Did she really want to be a Jedi? Or did she just want to learn the Force? Because they're two separate things. But in a way, she is. And in a way, she couldn't be farther from being a Jedi. So interesting. Yashi's 3, Osha force choking and later bleeding into the Kyber crystal. That was so So hard, so emotional. Number 4 for Terry, May, and Osha's continued connection at the end of the tree. Anytime they use trees in the Force, I just love that. It's so cool. Looks like we got some spam there, so I don't know what's going on there. Blake, hello everyone. I'm out with one of my best friends having some beers after work, but I had to drop in and say hello. The show's meant a lot to me the last few years, and I can never repay Dan for it. Blake, brother, you don't have to repay me. I thank you so much for being here, and you've been a huge part of this thing, so thank you so much. It means a lot to me for you to pop in and say hello. So nice. So cool. Seriously, you guys. All right, 3 for me, Senator Raincourt. I've been looking forward to talking about this. A lot of you have. I found Senator Raincourt. His brief appearance was really moving and really grounded in this this pretentious self-righteousness that is a challenging part of the political process in Star Wars. And I wish Senator Raincourt had been one of the main antagonists from the beginning. I think I would have liked this series that much more if that were the case. But he was a great character. I hope we get to see more of him. And I like the gusto, the bravado, and again, that self-righteousness. It was really interesting. Really, really interesting. Let's see. Minta 3, seeing the crystal bleed from blue to red was just unreal. There have been descriptions of how the process was done, but seeing it happen took it to another level. You know, I loved seeing that. I love seeing that on camera. We've certainly read about it. It's been in a lot of the comics. It's always been a cool concept that Charles Soule first brought into the Star Wars canon in Darth Vader #1, I believe. His version of Darth Vader's comic, its second volume. But it was cool to see it live. Number 3 for Murray for Ahsoka. Osha bleeding the kyber crystals. Thank you. And then for her CWK live list, number 3, hearing everyone's top 5s and other ideas and viewpoints about Star Wars. That's one of the things I'm going to miss the most about the live show is that instant feedback. I've always said from the beginning that you'll always have a voice on Coffee with Kenobi. I want to hear what you have to say. I want to spread the news that you have, the insights that you have, what you want to bring to the table into this community. And the live show has been one of the best ways to do that. So, and plus I get to, not only do you get to watch the live show, which is replayed, on Twitter. Well, it used to be until you had to pay for it, apparently. Facebook and YouTube. So, and of course, the audio feed is going to be on the podcast feed. Number 3 for David. Yoda sighting. Wasn't sure we'd see him on the show. Now wanting to know what Vernestra is going to say to him. That I do too. I fear it's not going to be much. Number 3 for Robert. The appearance of Darth Plagueis. Very, very exciting. Liberty agrees. Darth Plagueis so creepy. What a great live action intro. I would love to see how they created the look of that character. It was really tremendous. Number 3 for Kato, seeing the problems within the Jedi Order. It made me think of the Ahsoka storyline in the final Clone Wars seasons and how she sees the ramifications of the Jedi's actions from the point of view of common citizens. Well said, Kato. The Ahsoka storyline in Clone Wars, I did think of that too because there are some, you see the political stuff, the Jedi answering to the Senate. Of course, in Ahsoka's finale, Tarkin was a part of that before when it was the Republic, and seeing those parallels was really fascinating. 3 for Adam. Chimera was able to resist and break through the Witch Vulcan mind meld. That is a good way to describe it. Number 3 for Terry, the lightsaber battle. I mean, enough said. It's really cool. Father Jimmy seeing the bleeding of the kyber crystal and the beautiful imagery of the red taking over the saber. It was, honestly, as we've said, so well done. So it was just a gorgeous, and I actually said, whoa. And I thought to myself, they're doing this on camera. That is so cool. Because if you don't read the comics, you may not even realize that's how it happens. So pretty neat. 3 for Greg, the Plagueis cameo. I like that the conversation shifts away from, is it a Sith or not? Believes doors open for all this comes together for Chimera, Plagueis, and Osha. Yeah, there's no doubt. Like if this stranger is working with Darth Plagueis, well, then he is a Sith. I mean, there is no question. But I think, wouldn't it be fun? Well, I don't like to speculate, but all right, I'll just do it. I'll do it the one time ever, and of course, it's going to be on the last live show. Wouldn't it be cool if the stranger had no idea that Darth Plagueis was there? That would be cool. But then that would mean there was someone else that's his master. So maybe that's why I don't speculate. That's why I don't speculate. Expectation without regulation equals fan constipation, and I don't want to get fan constipated. So that's why I don't speculate. Great cast, the asteroid belt chase, echoes of Empire Strikes Back and Attack of the Clones, but totally original and stunning visuals. Yeah, some of the best visuals I think we've ever seen in Star Wars, which is saying something. Daniels 3, the wonderful digital cinematography of the ship chase scene. Absolutely stunning. Number 3 for Leo, Osha bleeding the lightsaber in live action. Pretty amazing. I must say, Leo, completely agree. A total stunner. Next 3, the score, especially during the lightsaber battle. Yeah, it was so good, and now it's available on Spotify if you weren't aware. Brian's 3, May throwing Soul's lightsaber away, mirroring Luke in Return of the Jedi. I thought of that too, and apparently there are a couple of lines that initially when I watched are very similar to other things in Star Wars that I didn't really think about. But they very much are alive there. Okay, just checking my lighting over here. Sorry about that. All right, let's go to number 2. What time is it? 7:30. Wow, we're doing good. And I still have my voice. Number 2 for me is the fight choreography. We've said this, but you have to mention it. Incredible. Other level. The jumps, the kicks, the flips, the slow motion, the wire work, the visuals, the stunt choreography, the training that went into this between these two incredible actors. I mean, it's tremendous. And yes, we've always thought or heard about the Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon comparison. Nowhere is it more true than here. It's terrific. It could easily be number 1, but I have a different number 1, which I'll get to here in a little bit. Okay. Here we go. Looking at everybody's stuff. I don't want to miss anything. Yasi says the use of sensory deprivation helmets by Osha and her breathing, similar to Vader, was so powerful, symbolizing the psychological manipulation, the isolation, and dehumanization, also control and oppression. Yasi, you are bringing the intellectual heat. Awesome. So that's so accurate. I didn't even think about comparing it to Vader. That's so good. Mary's number 2 for the Acolyte, the reveal of May and Osha actually not being sisters, but one. Yeah, that was huge. That was huge. The live show, live for Mary, watching the video clips at the beginning of the show and how they have changed over the years. Love seeing our Halcyon group in a lounge at the end of the intro. That's one of my favorite parts. And I hope we get to replicate that next summer on the Disney Wish. Speaking of, let me throw that up here because it's important. As Mary just mentioned, last year we went on the Halcyon, the Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser, and next summer, June 16th to the 20th, 2025, we're going to be on the Disney Wish. You can book your experience with me and members of the Star Wars and Coffee with Kenobi community with our amazing travel partner, Mouse Fan Travel, MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. You can book your Disney Wish cruise today. coffeewithkenobi.com/Disney Wish. There's the Star Wars Hyperspace Lounge. I'll be there. There just might be a live show on the ship. All kinds of exciting things happening. There's a lot. There's so much I haven't revealed yet, but we've got a lot to look forward to. I really hope you can join us. And if you're even remotely interested, you can go to coffeewithkenobi.com/Disney Wish for a no cost, no obligation quote. Again, that is next summer, June 16th to the 20th, 2025 on the Disney Wish. Terry's number 2. At first, I didn't care for Senator Raincourt's pursuance of an investigation into the Jedi affairs, but with the actions of the Jedi, I understand why he felt the need. You know what? I do too, and I think that's that gray aspect, I think, is what made this so interesting. Kato mentioned before, but oh my gosh, those flipping lightsaber battles, what a dynamic dance that was. A dance is a great way to describe it because it was beautifully choreographed. Liberties 2, the swap when May wants justice and Osha wants revenge. The name of the second episode. Roles Reverse Duality. Love it. So good, Liberty. And I just noticed your profile picture as well. One of the great promo art pieces from The Acolyte. David's number 2. Lightsaber duel between Soul and the Stranger. Incredibly well done. Yeah, absolutely stunning. Just tremendous stuff. Other level. Adams to the Kyber crystal bleeding. Again, great to see in live action. Greg McLaughlin's too. Soul and Chimere's duel, so well done. Beautifully done. Especially like when they cut through the overpass of the bridge and they he just kind of cuts down the line as they're going through that stone bridge. That was cool. 2 for Daniel, another amazing fight scene between Soul and Chimera. Awesome choreography. That's been really high on everybody's, and it should be because it's so good. Number 2 for me to Darth Plagueis. He's been talked about for years, and now it's written in stone. Yes, it is. It's so cool. Number 2 for Robert, crouching. Oh, no. Again, how great. I forget to turn on the mic. My throat goes out and I have a coughing fit. That's the way we should end the last CWK Live. We want a big amalgamation of all things that has happened on this show for over 4 years. Robert's 2, Crouching Stranger, Hidden Jedi, Lightsaber Duel. I promise I have my top 5 written up before seeing Adam and Minta's comments. Well, no, we believe you. And that's very astute, very accurate. Greg's 2, Greg Cass is 2, The Bleeding of the Kyber. I've imagined it since the color change lightsaber toy came out for Revenge of the Sith. And it did not disappoint. Greg, I agree. I was thinking about that. I talked about it on the podcast this week. I wish that would have happened with Anakin, because that would have been so cool. But yeah, very good stuff. Number 2 for Father Jimmy, the fight between Soul and Chimera was both a great action sequence, but also expressed a lot of emotion and character. It did. It tells the story in the story, and I think that's an important way to tell a good story. Liberty says, I revisited Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Hadn't seen it in years. Love the use of the fighting style in the show. Is that streaming somewhere? Because I would love to watch that again. 2 for Leo. Soul telling Osha was okay to finish him, showing he understands that this is the way things must end. Oh, that's so awful. It breaks my heart. Number 2 for Brian, the space chase sequence in between the rings, visually stunning. One of the best. Absolutely one of the best. Greg Cass said, my son thought they said send a Rancor outside the room. So he was very disappointed at the character reveal. Yasi, the restrictions of emotions and autonomy of being a part of any order and loss of individuality, how the psychological trauma was influenced just by using a well-designed prop. Yeah. And that's, you can use those MacGuffins to create, and that's what I always say, like whatever you're going to put into a story, visuals, music, MacGuffins, whatever the case may be, please make sure that, well, I shouldn't say please, but for me, I wanted to further the story, tell a story. I don't want gimmicks. I want things that I don't think anything should be wasted. When you're making a pie that is a story, or a cake that's a story, you're making this cuisine that is a story, all the ingredients must mix together perfectly to tell that story, in my opinion. And it's not easy to do at all. Darren is here. Hello, Darren. Great to have you, brother. He says, choreography just the best in the show. It's really tremendous. Yasi says, don't encourage me. I go on. Yasi, I'm going to encourage you, and please make sure to go into our CWK Facebook group, CWK Cafe, and add your insights. Liberty says, Akato says, Liberty, I recently revisited that film too. That's so good. All right, and now, the top moment from the Acolyte episode, the Acolyte, and the last number 1 from CWK Live, for me, transitions. There is a sequence where Osha and May kick at each other and their legs cross, and also it flips to the Stranger and Soul, their lightsaber blades crossed with each other. There are a couple of moments like that which reminded me of George's use of transitions in these stories in the original 6 Star Wars films. But the transitions are a master class in how to tell a story through film. I had the good fortune a couple of years ago to take a film class I've been wanting to do for a long time. And they talked about how you use mise-en-scene, I believe it's pronounced. It's all part of how you tell a story. And transitions in the cinematography are a big part of that. But it reminded me of classic Star Wars, and it's really excellent. Really excellent. Let's see what everybody else has. Mary's number 1, Acolyte, the amazing fight scene between Soul and Chimera happening at the same time as the fight between Osha and May. Both are so well done. And our number 1 for the live show, our found family that so organically formed through the CWK Cafe and the live show. I wasn't very interactive online until the live show started in 2020. Thank you, Dan, for giving us such an amazing family. Well, Mary, thank you. Thank you so much for saying that. Thank you so much for being here from the beginning. Several of you have been. And it means the world to me. I said to Deanna my wife before the show, I said, I'm getting a little choked up about this. And it's really bittersweet. It's really bittersweet, but all of you have made this so much better. And more on that in a little bit. Cato's number one of the themes of betrayal that underscore the entire arc. It finds its final expression in the bleeding of the crystal, but the whole story is infused with betrayal of others, vows, and self. The only one who doesn't betray others is the Sith guy. What a universe. What a universe indeed. That's well said. Excuse me, Greg's number one, Greg McLaughlin's number one. The bleeding of the Kyber crystal. Awesome to see in live action. Completely agree. Terry's number one. Cameo appearances by Darth Plagueis and Yoda. Wouldn't it be cool if they ever got to see each other face to face? The one for David, the reveal of Darth Plagueis, so chilling and so cool. Tremendous. Darren's number one, Darth Plagueis' appearances. Wish we could see more. Not very high hopes for a second season, though. The season set up some interesting things that may or may not get explored further, and I am really fascinated to see how that's going to play out. Yoda's number one, not Yoda's number one, Minta's number one. Minta says about Yoda, Yoda's brief cameo in the episode only made sense. He's around near the beginning of the Order. You can't tease the fans of the legend out of his second season. The fans need to be fed. Oh, I like that. I like that. Hopefully Lucasfilm was listening. Number one for Liberty, Osha bleeding the Kyber. I felt all of her pain and anger in that moment. The way the lightsaber responded was absolutely brilliant. Side note, did anyone think the saber looked like a boom pop? Remember those? That's hilarious. I do remember those. Number one for Daniel, Master Yoda reveal. Please don't let Vern be a Sith. No way. I refuse to believe that. But she's sure acting like a Sith, Daniel. I think. Number one for Adam, Dan Z, putting so much time and effort into these fun CWK lives. Thanks for everything you've done these past 4 years, and congratulations on the new book. Adam, thank you, my friend. Again, I really appreciate that. It's been a complete labor of love, and I've enjoyed it all. I've enjoyed it all, mostly because of all of you. Number one for Robert, the visuals of bleeding of the Kyber crystal and the change of the blade when it was activated. It was a great highlight. Burnt Waffle and Mr. Fudge is here. I'm so glad that you two are here. Great to have you on the last show. Burnt Waffle's one, seeing Osha turning Soul's blue lightsaber to red. Also seeing Yoda at the end was pretty cool. Yes, it was. Father Jimmy, the Darth Plagueis reveal, gave so much more weight to the story and his place in the whole saga. It did. It anchored it, I think. Mr. Fudge, great to see you too. Seeing Yoda at the very end of the episode, I'm interested in what will happen in the future. I am too. It'd be fascinating to see what happens. The one for Leo, Soul and Chimere's duel was epic. The choreography and the way they moved between locations and sets was excellent and on point. Yes, it was. Kato says, Mary, you are a wonder and so kind. It's absolutely true. Brian's number one, the bleeding of the Kyber and Soul's lightsaber. It was amazing to see in live action. Truly amazing. Again, I still wish it would happen in Revenge of the Sith because wow, but just great stuff. Yassi's last one. Finally, Ahsoka employed the female gaze by character depth. I'm sorry, Acolyte. Wow, that would have been a surprise. Acolyte employed the female gaze by character depth and multi-dimensional female characters' emotional focus, visual styles, and themes. It also passes the Bechdel test, too. And Mary says, Kato, thank you. Yes, thank you. Well, I don't have a preview of next week because there is no CWK Live. So let's go into Ask Dan Z, and I'm going to talk in way more detail about why this is the last live show and why that's not a bad thing. Here we go. All right. Look, I want to... let me get the last... I've got a few more comments here. Literally says the use of another Beastie Boys song in Center Chewan is my honorable mention. That was hilarious. Terry, can you post the potential release schedule for future Star Wars shows and movies on the cafe page? I actually know when they're all being released, and I can't. I can't. So I won't be able to do that. But just stay tuned for fun Star Wars news on StarWars.com and Coffee with Kenobi. Is that fair? Daz Davies, great top fives. Nailed it to the last one. Mary's list for top CWK Live was perfect. Daz, thank you, brother. And thank you so much for joining me from all the way across the pond. Liberty says, thank you so much today and all of you for making these live shows so awesome. Thank you, Liberty. All right. I started the live show. I wrote it down because I had to look it up on May 15th, 2020. So 3/15/20 was the first CWK Live. Actually posted it in the CWK Cafe, I think yesterday. I'll put that logo up there for you if you're not sure. But the CWK Cafe is where I hope that you will go every single week because it's our Facebook group. It's family friendly. It's spoiler free. coffeewithkenobi.com/community, or go to Coffee with Kenobi or type in CWK Cafe on Facebook and you will certainly find it. So again, it started March 15, 2020. It was COVID. I'm a very extroverted person. I missed interacting with people. Oops, that's wrong. Sorry about that. I missed the feedback. I missed the banter, and I like talking with everybody online. I feel like we needed a place to talk. And I wanted to continue that purpose, that complete purpose of giving the Star Wars community a place to share their voice. I remember standing in line at Star Wars Celebration, Indianapolis, Celebration 3. And I remember talking to all these strangers, and people weren't really responding to me. I mean, they didn't know me, and maybe they just thought, who's this weirdo talking Star Wars? What is this guy babbling about? This is very possible. And I remember thinking, I like what these two are saying. I really want to be a part of this conversation. I feel like I've got a lot to offer. I feel like it would be cool for us to chat. Like, I want to learn from them too. And it didn't happen. It wasn't a bad thing. It wasn't a negative thing. But it just left a mark on me. It left a mark. And it was in my subconscious. So that led me eventually, after a lot of different things, to Coffee with Kenobi. And then this live show, which again, I've had now for over 4 years. Coffee with Kenobi Live, CWK Live, is an absolute labor of love. I treasure it. It taught me, because one of the things that Deanna would say on some of my earlier shows, and I noticed too in my earlier regular podcast, was, hey, you need to add a little more emphasis to your voice. You sound tired. And I used to record the shows really late at night after a long day of teaching and being a dad and everything. And I was just wiped out, but I wanted to do the show. I wanted to get out there. And she said, you really ought to put something like in front of you, like a monitor or something like that, so you can see your face. Maybe you'll react to that, and maybe it'll make you a little more animated when you talk. And ultimately what I did was that, and it worked. It helped. And then using this live show, I feel like it made me a better host, because I am not someone, how many people get uncomfortable seeing themselves on camera or hearing their voices. That's never bothered me. And not from a place of hubris. Truly not that at all, because that's not true. It's just that it helps me to improve. Like, I don't really listen to my shows, but I edit my shows. And I listen to myself because I want to get better. I feel like I've been doing podcasting for 11 years, and I want to be better at what I do. I want to be better at bringing you honest, earnest Star Wars conversation that truly that comes from a place of love. That comes from a place of sincerity. I want to make you think. I want to make you laugh. And I want you to know that what you think is valid. As I've said many times, it's okay to disagree, not to be disagreeable. And no place that I have found online showed that more than CWK Live, because of these interactions, because of these top fives. I treat it like a class where I give you homework, right? Where you make your list, you make your top fives, and then we can all share and learn from each other. And so many of you have gotten to each other because of the live show. I have goosebumps now, which is such a great thing. I keep saying not to be sad, because Coffee with Kenobi, the podcast, has been happening for over 11 years. That's not going away. Just the live show. Will I pop up periodically with live shows? Yes. Will they be something that I give you a heads up for? Most likely. There may be one that's just impromptu, or some big news drops. I'm like, I got to get on live and I got to talk to everybody about it. That might happen. Will I cover future streaming stuff? I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know. I want to keep all my options open. This show, the live video portion that you're seeing, is one small part of this. Like, I taught myself a lot of stuff with video and editing and design and lighting. I taught myself some things because I'm always hungry to learn more things. I want to constantly find ways to make the show better, to make me better, because it helps me as an educator too, and hopefully as a human being, because I like being prepared for things. You know what I mean? And it's just a lot of work. It's hours and hours and hours work besides this, plus doing the regular podcast and some writing projects and other things I'm working on for lots of things, which I can't talk about. And I'm not trying to dangle a carrot and tease you. I just can't. Plus I'm in grad school. Plus, more important than any of that, I'm a husband first and a father of 3. And where I'm at now in my life, I wouldn't trade it for anything. But if I can give myself one extra night a week to be with my family, then I'm going to take it because I love you guys. But I love my family even more. I really think I'm getting choked up. But I did not. I'm sorry. I did not expect that. So I want to thank Deanna so much for giving me this outlet, for always inspiring me and pushing me to do my best and to strive to be excellent. And it's been such a great thing to do. Such a great thing to do. I love it. I couldn't do it without you, Deanna. Thank you. I love you. Thanks to Peyton and Parker for supporting me, for Mason, who, when the show started, he was a little guy. Now he's 11. And after every live show, he would get on there and he would type, and his name would pop up. He would use my Facebook account or Deanna's Facebook account, and he would post stuff. And after every show, I would turn it off, and I would sit here in my chair, and I would hear his little feet coming down the stairs, and he'd come in and sit in my lap, and we just talk about the live show. And he's like a little producer, and we talk about it and give me hugs. And oh gosh, why am I doing this to myself? It was just so great. Ooh, so thank you so much, everyone that joined me. I don't want to mention all your names because I just am petrified of leaving anybody out. But if you're here, you've got to be one of the anchors. I mean, I said I wouldn't do it, but I will especially point out Mary and Minta. Well, I'm just going to, Ross, LJ, the Gregs, Daz, just all of you. I don't want to leave anybody out, but there's so many of you have made this show so great because I got to know you, and because I got to know you, we got to go on the house hunt, and then next summer we get to go on the Star Cruiser together. I've got a lot of comments here. I don't want to leave anybody out. Let's go to it. Let's see here. I don't want to miss anybody. I mentioned Daz's Liberty. Thank you so much, Dan. All of you for making these live shows so awesome. I said that one. Cato says, Dan, you've held this space for so long. You've enlightened my heart in many ways. Thank you, Cato. Thank you so much. Minta says, this show helped me during the pandemic and more. It's on every day. You find kindred spirits online, and this has been like another family to me. The force is strong with this group. Thank you, Minta, so much. Greg, I remember when this all started. So awesome you've done it this long. I appreciate all the hard work. Thank you, Greg. Again, it's a labor of love. So much. Lori, thanks, Dan, for the show and for being so nice when I met you at Celebration Anaheim. I remember that, Lori, and of course, my pleasure. Be sure to stop me anytime you see me. Greg, Gar is here. Gar, hello, man. So good to see you. He says, congratulations on your long run to ending and moving forward with other things. Good luck with everything, and thank you for all you do. My pleasure, buddy. Still have the podcast, but the live show, thank you. Leo, thank you, Dan, for creating this live show for us and to gather and discuss Star Wars in a positive way and making this a wonderful community. My pleasure. Yes, he's not a fan of the Bechdel test, but a nice jab. I take it. No, I mean, I studied Bechdel over last semester. And I was fascinated by the whole thing. Daniel, I remember that show in the lifetime we had during the pandemic, but so alone, but we're also together. Thank you, Dan, for lending us a lifeline when we need it. Long live this family. Thank you, Daniel. Truly, truly. Terry, the live show is a very special way to connect with others on this page. Great friends were made here. Thank you so much, Dan, for creating the show. Looking forward to continuing things on the CWK Cafe page. Definitely. Nick says, I stumbled upon the show 7 months ago through the Disney Dish with Jim Hill. Feel lucky to have gotten to be a chance to be part of your weekly top 5. I still listen to the older episodes when I'm at work. Thank you for hosting this show, Dan. So appreciative. Thank you, Nick, and thank you. I'm glad that looking at Lucasfilm with Jim brought you over. That's so good. Greg Cass, you're the best, Dan. A real inspiration that makes us all better for knowing you. Greg, thanks, everybody. Look, I'm just a mirror for you guys, and I'm glad that you take the time out of your schedule to listen to me babble about Star Wars. It means so much. Liberty, I'll always be grateful for you teaching us Orabesh. I can read everything I see now. I'd never have had the drive to do that on my own. Me too. I'm so glad they gave me goosebumps. I'm so glad because I wanted us all to learn together. David, great work, Dan. These podcasts take quite a bit of time and effort. Thanks for all that effort and congrats on a great live show. You know, this has been a great live show because of all of you, and thank you, David, so much for your support. Jen is here. Jen Subchoctai. Hello, Jen. Thank you so much for joining us. Congratulations on an amazing run, Dan. I was not able to join often, but every time I participated, it's been a joy. Thank you, Jen. Means so much. Yasi, my honorable mentions, a bold and crucial narrative choice of killing all 4 Jedi. Jackie and Yord enriching the dark themes and heightening the stakes you talked about in your episodes as well. Indeed. Robert, thank you, Dan, for sharing your love of Star Wars with us, for allowing us to ride along every Tuesday or Monday. For all the work you put in it, we'll definitely keep listening. Robert, thank you, my friend. You've always been such an inspiration, and a thank you. Ross says, you're the best, Dan. Thank you. My pleasure, man. I think you're pretty amazing, too. Father Jimmy, no questions tonight for the Ask Dan Z segment. Just immense gratitude for your work with the show and your choice to put your family first. Hey, thanks you, brother. I appreciate it. Looking forward to the future in all aspects. Cato, I have used the story of CWK and the community that was made as an example of how making space that invites people to connect is a powerful thing. Your invitation to come together has made a lot of joy. Love you, Dan. Thank you for what you've given us here. Cato, thank you so much. I love you all, too. I'm so blessed. What a great community. Gar says, Dan, some of what you didn't like about the Acolyte, let's hope, reminded me of the initial criticism of the prequels. Some were uncomfortable with how the prequels were different than the originals, and I thought, of course it's going to be different. It's a tragedy, and the originals weren't. And that's the same with the Acolyte. It's a true tragedy, and that's more difficult to swallow. Yes, and as James pointed out, it's called the Acolyte. So they made it clear it's going to be from the bad guy perspective. Dad says, thanks, Dan. You were a class act. We're lucky to have you. Thank you, sir. Hey, my pleasure, brother. Thank you for joining me, especially tonight. Gary says, have seen many of your shows but didn't participate. My misfortune. Facebook and podcast for the future. Thanks for what you've done here. We'll look at YouTube for shows I've missed. Take care. Gary, thank you. And I'm so grateful you came and joined us on the live show. How perfect. How perfect. Thank you so much, and I appreciate your support. Darren, thanks for all you do for the Star Wars community. It's appreciated. Thank you, my friend. Thank you and your family for joining us. It means so much to me. Yasi, another honorable, bringing in new direction voices like Coconada with his non-linear storytelling and perspective of this vast galaxy, and that's for sure. Mr. Fudge, thank you. Adam, may the force be with you. Terry, may the force be with you always. Bro Waffle, thanks for all the live shows and all the hard work. Thank you, my friend Raquel. Very proud of you. Hope to see you soon. Thank you, Raquel. Love you. Thank you so much for being here. Yasi says, I learned to analyze Star Wars with psychological and philosophical perspectives by listening to your show. I owe you goosebumps. Well, thank you, Yasi. That's so humbling. Thank you. Kato, may the force be with you. Colby says, you are the best, Dan. Thanks for all you do. See you in the cafe. I look forward to it. Liberty, may the force be with you. Brian, it was an honor to meet you in person. In 2019, our indie meetup, and walk you and Tom up to your podcast. I remember that. I got the music again. I remember that, Brian, perfectly. CWK Live brought back some normalcy after all the unknowns of the pandemic. My family knew that Monday, Tuesday nights were CWK Live nights. Much love to you on how much time and energy you've given to us for live shows. Hey, thanks, Brian. You've been such a rock star. I appreciate you. Leo says, Dan, may the force with you. And you, my friend, Minta, may the force with you. All in this amazing family. See everyone in the cafe. Yes. Gary says, thanks to the Orbesh lessons, I can read it and write it, use it to leave messages, kind of like shorthand. Yeah, exactly. Minta, may the force be with you. Very big shout out to, and thank you to Mason as well. Always loved it when he joined the show. I did too. Well, that is a perfect way to end it with Mary leaving the last comment. Thank you all so very much. Remember, the conversation continues in the CWK Cafe. If you can join us next summer on the Disney Wish, go to coffeewithkenobi.com/Disney Wish. Sign up for a no cost, no obligation quote and cruise with us. How great is that going to be? Be sure to always go to the CWK Cafe for Star Wars Conversation. That's where we're going to be. That's it's our Facebook group. Again, it's family friendly, it's spoiler free, and no drama, no nonsense. Just good fun. If you want to find another way to support me and Coffee with Kenobi, then please become a member or consider becoming a member of the CWK Alliance. get access to exclusive video and podcasts. Honestly, Coffee with Kenobi doesn't exist without the CWK Alliance. You get video and audio that you can't find anywhere else, and it's a great thing. So thank you so much, everybody. I will see you soon in many capacities. Again, Coffee with Kenobi is not going anywhere. The podcast is still going strong. You're still going to see my event coverage. I've got a lot of exciting things coming out in the future I can't wait to share with you. And I thank you so much for joining me. One last time, I start off on the live show. May the Force be with you. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, everybody. May the Force be with you. I'm going to just say goodbye because I'm stretching out too long because I don't want to say goodbye. But it's not goodbye. It's see you later. Thank you, everyone. May the stars light your way. Thank you again for joining me. Love you all. God bless. May the Force be with you. This is the live podcast you're looking for. See you soon.
This podcast is not endorsed by the Walt Disney Company or Lucasfilm Limited. It is intended for entertainment and informational purposes only. The official Star Wars website can be found at www.starwars.com. Star Wars, all names, sounds, and any other Star Wars related items are registered trademarks and or copyrights of Disney and their respective trademark and copyright holders. All original content of this podcast is the intellectual property of Coffee with Kenobi unless otherwise indicated.
This is the podcast you're looking for.
There's no one here.